Hi, welcome. Wow. Let me just see. I may need to adjust my camera a little bit. I don't think it's set up right. All right. Hi, Kelly. Hi, Ariana. Welcome. This is the last live stream of the month. So I wanted to show you, which is why I took it down, the weird thingy I did this month. And so the thing is, I have this panel here, right, that I mount my paper on, and it's not very wide or anything. And so I fold the paper over, like, for these purposes, like no fucks given type of work, so I just fold it over. But then sometimes you don't see it all at once. So I'm gonna just quickly try and... Nah, it looks good. It's fine. I hope you don't get seasick. The camera being a little bit crooked. Mm-hmm. Hi, Rosie. So this is like, right, I'm gonna try and, I have these clamps that I use to put it on, try and not make too much noise. Because I do want to work on it a little bit more today. One. Hi Sandra, welcome. Hi Linda, welcome. Where's my, oh, here's my palette. I have not cleaned my palette for like the whole week, so it's gonna be fun. I'm gonna get some white. So it's been a fun month. I say fun, and I mean that in like cognitive therapy type of way, you know, where you think one thing and then you replace that thought with something else. The something else would be fun. But I also can't say it was really bad or anything. I tried this month to go out, and I also outside and take my sketchbook with me, and the idea was to see what would happen, and then the expectation, of course, is that you draw something, or you have some kind of revelation that suddenly makes you the kind of person that draws outside and, you know, doesn't care and has no stress. And the funny thing is that I was kind of floating in between those two states, and basically tried to see what would happen if I tried, and what art, in a way, either contributed to my state of mind or not contributed to my state of mind. And my state of mind, what I mean by that basically is I have anxiety. The minute I leave my front door, I have anxiety I need to manage. And sometimes it's bad. And sometimes it's you know, medium, and sometimes it's low. It's this whole spectrum of things, but it needs to be managed, right? I love the nail polish. Thank you. Thank you. I default to black, and my son was like, "Ooh, they're brown. They're dark brown." So I wanted to see if art was something that could contribute to managing anxiety, and if not, then maybe the why, or maybe the, I don't know. I talked about this at some point. I think it was during Drawn Together with Dylan, and it was back when Shannon was there also. And I think at some point Shannon and I came to the conclusion that some people just have what you could call masochistic tendencies. Like, oh, I don't like doing this thing, so now I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it over and over again. I'm gonna do it in the context of something that I like. So I like kicking against my own limitations and my own boundaries through the things that I like, such as art. And it's nice. It's fun. You know, I wouldn't say it's fun, but it's, you know, it's a safe space, because if all else fails, you still have art. You know what I mean? It's almost like a buffer in a way. But what I also found when I went outside is that the art brain that I have when I'm home is not the art brain that I have when I'm outside. I found that when I went outside, what I wanted really was to draw objects like trees, or not humans, if you will. And I'm like, I like humans. It's all I painted or arted, if you will, for a really long time. And so I was a little bit surprised that when I went outside, I defaulted to objects. If all else fails, I still have art, yes. Even if sometimes it's just in my mind, true. Art saved me during my worst long COVID moment. Yeah, I can imagine that. I can imagine that. I cannot imagine long COVID, but so there's one thing I wanted to do. I'm just thinking about my stuff, and at the same time thinking about things I kind of wanted to do on this funny horizontal spread. And so I haven't decided what it is that, do I like it? Does it help me? is it something that I want because I feel like I should, you know, like I have to be that artist that goes outside, you know, always be drawing. But there's also not a part of me that says unanimously, like, no, this is not for me. You know what I mean? We're inconclusive. And so I think it's just gonna be part of my, you know, let's try this every now and then type of thing. Because one of the things that I was, that came to mind at some point, I don't know when, is that art is this part of me, right? And the funny thing is that I've never felt comfortable enough to work, but also to show works in progress or show anything other than like a curated portfolio to people. And so at some point you start thinking, what is it that makes that so private that you feel this resistance to sharing that? And when I was outside, with my fear somehow, I think fear is a big word, but the thing that kept popping up in my brain is that it's not that I feel unsafe necessarily drawing or doing anything outside. It's just that I don't want people to see me do that and then sort of come up and say, oh, what are you drawing? Are you an artist? Do you always, what? It's almost as if when people see you do that, it's real in the world. And when people don't see you do that, when you exclusively do it in your own home, you can still go back and say, no, I'm not really an artist. I guess it's part of just, you know, putting stuff out in the world, and maybe also losing that perhaps fake sense of security that you can go back and pretend that it wasn't real. Wow, that's a lot of brain stuff. Like, this is how my brain operates. 18 hours a day. Let me catch up. Do you want to paint nature? And that's the best reason for drawing outside, in my opinion. Yeah, so not necessarily. The plan was not really to draw nature. The one thing I did take away from it is that I think I kind of like drawing nature. And I never really considered that because, I don't know, I draw people. But I do like it. But it wasn't the purpose of going outside, really. The purpose of going outside for me was to lovingly torment myself. You could say push boundaries. Let me, Kelly, I'm feeling the same from my experimenting with it this month. Yeah. I got your email, by the way. I'm just procrastinating the reply, but you know that. I like that I have the, yeah, that's a really good point, to have the option to do it. I have issues showing works in progress mainly because I don't know if I'll finish that. Yeah, you mentioned that at some point. Yeah. Yeah, I feel like with works in progress, I want control over, you know, if it's not good enough, and this is a bit of an issue, probably you know that by now, right? If it is not good enough, I want to be able to eliminate it from existence, right? But another part is that, you know, the end work is, the final work is the final work. But the process for me is where my soul lies, almost as if it lies bare. And, you know, the final work is almost like a curated version of a bunch of dirt that you drag up, and then for me, I decide what I want to show in the end. And so the in progress works are as if, you know, that dream where you're not wearing underwear. Even though most people don't even see that, it's just that you know that it's there, I suppose. Is it the same as showing people your studio? I remember you talking about that. Yeah, perhaps it is. It is a part of that. You know, for a while, and I'm still considering it, there was also, let me rephrase that. I consider that maybe I'm just not a person who, you know, does the outside thing. Like, I read a bunch of books, and there are loads of artists who are like, never left their studio or never had any people in their studio. And it's fine if that is fine, but my thing with art is that whenever stuff is fine, I get restless, and it needs to I need to kick something. Or against something. You're working on a family and pet series from old photos that are recently came. That is really cool. Yeah. Yeah, that's really cool. Also, gessoing over old works. Yay. Really cool. There's this British artist who does paintings from oh, cool. I'm actually kind of wanting to do a portrait again. I haven't done a portrait in a while. It's just funny to, you know, how when you're focused on this one thing, that I really can't do two things at the same time. Like this for me is weird. I don't usually work this way. I don't do this. It's all a little bit stressful because I don't know what the hell I'm doing. But then I also can't really start a portrait because my brain's like, no, we're either being weird or we're doing portraits, but we're not doing both at the same time. You guys gonna suggest a bunch of good artists again? Because I think we're on a roll last time. I can't remember if it was a Zoom call or the live stream or both, but we had a bunch of good new artists. The pool is the bane of my existence. It's so expensive. I can imagine that. We don't have, like, pools are not a very Dutch thing to have. I feel like more American houses have pools than Dutch, I think. It's not really a super thing. And it also doesn't get very hot here either. But I used to think when I was a kid that a bathtub was like the equivalent of living in a castle and being a queen, right? The bathtub. Because you obviously covet what you don't have. And then I remember we went on vacation or camp. Either way, there was a bathtub there. And I was like, I'm gonna spend all week in this bathtub. And I ran it, and there was soap, and there was I don't know what. And I was bored to pieces after 5 minutes, and I got out, and I never got back. And I never got back in. But it was such. I was so disillusioned. I had this whole myth built up around the bathtub, and then I was in. I was like, ugh, okay, what now? Yeah, we do have the ponds, yeah. Ponds, or just, you know, the, what's it called, like a public pool. Your granddaughters left the bathtub. Yeah, I can imagine that. I don't know if you put them in together, but maybe like with your brother or sister, it might be more fun. I think the first time I got into a bathtub, I was like 12 or 13, maybe. And you know, we also didn't have any devices back then. I can imagine if you have like a laptop or a tablet or whatever. Tubs are also really English. Yeah, they are. They are. So many good pool stories. I'm so very much like struggling with this. It's a, you know, sometimes when you start, maybe that should be a thing. Like the first thing that I start with is usually the thing that I end up not liking. So maybe I should just like rip it off here and then be like this was the tryout, like this area was the tryout. Like the first pancake, you know, that fails. I live between two lakes. Yeah. Oh, yeah, you live between the two lakes, yeah. I said to myself when I started, I was like, all right, I'm gonna put a little bit of, you know, cohesion into it. A little bit like the light, and then it ends up, ugh. And I also feel like, I don't know if I mentioned it to you, Kelly, at some point in maybe an email or something, but, you know, I'm a little hard on myself sometimes, which is fine. Like, me and me have this understanding. But I realized at some point that if you told me last year that I would be painting absolutely nothing planned, you know, just stick a piece of paper on and draw weird shit, yeah, I don't think I would have believed you. And that's maybe a good thing to realize that it's not gone, but it's also not limiting me in doing it or not doing it, you know what I mean? Because I had a bunch of live streams last year where I was like, I don't know if this is good for my, you know, mental health. And that was kind of the thing. Like, I tried it and I told myself, you know, if this is causing me problems, and I know very well what those problems are and don't necessarily need to specify them, but if that happens, then, you know, you just quit, and you know it's not, like, it's a bridge too far, right? But nothing crazy like that happened. Okay, so now we have the logistic issue where this is wet and I can't fold it around. How are we gonna do that? You know what, maybe I can if I... Who says I can't? Hold on. You can't see, but I'm doing fine. It's absolutely fine. Ba, ba, ba. We're doing good. It's fine. Where's my other one? Oh, here. Stay. Just folding that painting in half. Yes, yes, Mr. Dillon, I am. Yes, there are folds, but now there are more. Anyways, we're gonna pretend there's not wet paint behind this. It's fine. It's a perfectly valid way. Where's my palette? Oh, here. We're doing great. Texture. You know, when I started recording the stuff for, like, Let's Face It and everything, you know, you're on a time crunch and it has to get done. And sometimes you can't help but mess things up, or at least I can't. And the go-to term was always like, oh yeah, at least it adds a little bit of texture. Texture is like the code word for I messed up, but, you know, don't have time to fix it. The red and pink, yeah, it is. It's actually red and pink, because I remember I had a magenta and a red out. I kind of like pink and red, because I don't know why, but there was a fashion ban on combining red and pink back in the 90s. If you did that, it was like the fashion police is gonna come and sentence you to life without parole. So every time I put red and pink somewhere, I'm like, look at me, sue me. I think I'm a little bit off camera here, but it's just more pink. I kind of want to scratch my nose, but I have paint all over my hands. Spent like a good amount of time doing my nails, and then you end up with texture on them. You got your electrical problem fixed. I'm happy. Oof, that sounds rough. But I'm happy because I know it was such a stressor for you. You could scratch it with it. Oh, yeah. Oh, I got this. Ah, that's kind of nice. Also kind of weird, but kind of nice. I remember everything was yellow and orange halfway to 90s. True, also true. The 90s were just weird. Like, I'm glad they're over. You did scratch it with it. Yes, I did, but this one does not scratch well. Like, I need the wooden one. Oh, look at that. Is my face blocking that? Are you kidding me? Like, if you add a little bit, look, if you add a little bit of white to magenta, I don't know, it looks like, I don't know what it looks like. I have no fantasy when it comes to color. But it looks like something I would put in my mouth. And I don't know why. Oh, good, Linda. I'm happy about that. I am. In the 60s, red and orange were not done. Oh, okay. What? Where? know what's funny? When I read the chat, I actually read it in your voices now. Because some of you are on a Zoom call, and I think my my brain is like registering that stuff. So now when I read the chat, I actually feel like you're talking. Time to power wash, yes. Good. Don't worry if you have to leave. I think this weekend, Europe is going to the summertime, because we've been out of sync with the United States and that part of the planet for a while. So after the weekend, it's gonna be back to normal. So 8 p.m. here in the Pacific time will be 11 a.m. again. Bye, Linda. Talk to you soon. What time is it? Oh. I never knew you all changed your clocks. Yeah, we do. Yeah, same. Twice a year. Except there is I think a 2 or 3 week delay between some parts of the world and Europe. I'm not exactly sure. Well, I only know it. Know there's a difference between the United States, because I used to have people I work with, and then twice a year everybody would be like late for meetings, because the Americans assumed that we changed the clock the same time that we did, and we assumed that everybody in the world changed the clock the same way that we do, because we're Europeans. So that always caused a lot of confusion. Maybe at some point try some pastel with oil paint. That might be fun. Cool. I want to leave it like this. I don't want to see what's behind it. Right. So progress is being made in the form of just folding it over if you don't like it. It's a thing, right, with oil paint is why I work on these long strips of horizontal paper. So I can, it's almost like a sketchbook, if you will, except you don't have to flip the pages because it takes ages to dry. What I do sometimes when I do something like this, and I honestly don't like certain parts, like ripping out a page in a sketchbook or whatever, I just cut it right with the scissors. When it's dry, you can just cut it. But for me, that's kind of the way to work, if not continuously, but almost in a sketchbook frame of mind with oil paint, because again, you know, it just takes a long time to dry. So, yep, I'll let this dry. I'm probably gonna see if I can, I'd like to convert it to black and white. What I struggle with, usually, as usual, is some kind of thing in the composition that makes me click, you know, because like, oh yeah, that's what I want. And it's just lack of practice and lack of experience. But I want to try and see what happens if I convert it to black and white. Sometimes I find it easier to see, you know, if there's a focal point lacking or if the contrast is all over the place and whatnot. So that might be interesting. To see. The sound of painting is relaxing. Yeah, I hear that a lot. Like, my mom also really likes it. The sound of charcoal, sort of scritchy sounds. It's nice. I've had a hard enough time keeping up with our time. Yeah, I don't like it either. It also doesn't bother. Like I know some people really like go off for a while, but I just don't see the point. Like, stop. It makes me want to draw too, but I worked on 2 lessons today. Tired. Yeah, I saw your work on Instagram. You did a lot today, so don't. Maybe tomorrow. Because I saw your tree, Ariana, on Instagram, and I was like, oh, I actually thought, like, because I was in a tree mode, and then I saw you paint a tree, and then I was like, is this a lesson or something I missed? But it looked really cool. It was really great. I loved it. Cool to see the path that this month took. Yeah, yeah, me too. I liked it as well. Yeah, and I also liked hearing your own experiences, Kelly, and yeah, you know, like I said it probably a million times before, but you share this stuff and then people relate. And then you feel less crazy, or you feel crazy in the company of other crazy people. So that's great. I will miss the colors. They're not going anywhere. Oh, the tree was your eye. I saw your lesson, I think, with, was it Rebecca, who does the portraits in black and white and then something usually in color. I love her style. I love her videos as well. I love her. Anyways. All right. I'm gonna crash. I'm tired. I'm gonna think about next month, and I will do a live stream next Wednesday, because I think it's April 1st. So yeah, let's just start the month of April with a live stream on Wednesday. That sounds good. And I will see you then. I'll send out an email, a newsletter with the schedule and the theme and whatnot. So I had a great time. Thank you for talking to me. Thank you for joining me. And have a great day or night, wherever you are. And I will talk to you next week. All right. Bye-bye. Oh, let's not touch my face. Look. Look. Dirty. All right. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.